Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Cathedral. It's very good to see you on this lovely summer's day. This is a day that, another day that I have waited for some time. Just so that you understand who's on the platform with me, on my left is Dr. Phil Stone, the chairman of the Richard III Society, and without whom we certainly would not be here today. And so it's very good to welcome Phil back to the Cathedral this morning.
Thank you.
On my right is Matt Webster from FWA. I'll say more about them in a moment, from our contractors who, as you can see, have begun to make their presence felt in the building as they work with us into the future. And in due course, Phil and Matt will say a few words. This morning, we're going to announce really three things. The first, the date when King Richard III will be reinterred here in Leicester Cathedral in March 2015. Secondly, we're going to announce the royal patron who has agreed to support our cathedral appeal as we raise the funds to enable the reinterment to take place. And thirdly, to formally announce that the reordering and the building the space for King Richard to be reinterred has begun. So, the date of the service when King Richard III will be finally laid to rest here in Leicester Cathedral will be Thursday, the 26th of March, 2015. This is one of three services which will remember the life and death of this extraordinary monarch who will finally receive a dignified and honourable reburial in this cathedral. The mortal remains of King Richard will be received into the care of the cathedral on the evening of Sunday, the 22nd of March, and he will lie in repose for 3 days to be reburied on the morning of Thursday, the 26th. The reinterment service will form part of a 7-day programme in Leicester and Leicestershire centred on Richard III. And we're very pleased to be able to announce this morning that the main service of reinterment will be broadcast live on Channel 4 with a programme of highlights being shown that evening. On the first day, on Sunday, the 22nd of March, the University of Leicester, the legal custodians, will transfer the mortal remains into a lead-lined coffin which will travel from Leicester to Bosworth, remembering the life the king lost and his journey in 1485. Villages related to Richard III's last day will be included, remembering those key moments. And then for 3 days, King Richard will lie in repose by the font here in the cathedral for all those who wish to come through to pay their respects and say their prayers. Special arrangements will be in place to allow as many people as possible who wish to come here at that time. The following days, Friday the 27th and Saturday the 28th of March, will mark the end of the journey with the reveal of the sealed and completed tomb. And there will be a service to mark the completion of the reinterment as we look to the future, having laid the king to rest here in Leicester Cathedral. As the months go by, we're not going to be revealing all the details of these services because one wouldn't expect us to do so in the same way as other major national services are not simply all revealed before they happen. So that's the first and major bit of news. The second very significant piece of news is that His Royal Highness, the Duke of Gloucester, is to be the patron of Leicester Cathedral's King Richard III appeal in support of the cathedral's plans to reinter the medieval king in spring 2015. The appeal target is £2.5 million, and the cathedral has already nearly raised £1 million. We are working with trusts and foundations, private individuals and businesses to reach our fundraising target. And a group of leading citizens within Leicester and London are actively helping and supporting the cathedral in our demanding task. I am particularly thrilled and pleased that the Duke of Gloucester has agreed to be our patron, because I'm sure, as many of you will already know, before he became king in 1483, Richard was himself Duke of Gloucester, a title that had been conferred upon him by his elder brother, King Edward IV. And of course, His Royal Highness is also the patron of the Richard III Society, and so signalling clearly His Royal Highness's support and the involvement of the royal family. And then thirdly, the building work to create the space for the tomb of King Richard III has begun this week. Contractors Fairhurst Ward Abbott's Conservation have long experience in significant conservation works, having worked on Buckingham Palace, Ely Cathedral, and many other significant buildings in our country. And as you can see, the hoarding is in place and the works are underway. They've already done work in Leicester, here conservation work on the magazine Gateway, and most recently have been working in Chatsworth Hall in Derbyshire. So the works start by carefully screening off the entire area where there'll be activity before moving on to the major tasks. And this will begin with the careful dismantling of the existing wooden screens and the removal of furnishings and the taking up of existing stone floors, much of which will be relocated into the new arrangements. And later on in the works, the new grave space will be dug, prepared and lined. The main above-ground works for the tomb itself will be added in after this phase of work is complete. And during the construction works, there'll be the opportunity for the public to view the works as they proceed. There'll be observation windows cut into the hoarding, so you can come and have a look. And also a time-lapse camera will be recording the entire process from start to finish. So 3 pieces of really good news to share with you all this morning. And so now I'd like to invite Dr. Phil Stone to say a word as the chairman of the Richard III Society.
David, thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. Some of what I will say you've already heard. The finding of King Richard's remains has been one of the greatest happenings in over 500 years of Ricardian history, though, as it has been pointed out, without the Richard III Society, this might not have happened, and King Richard might still be under the car park. Today's announcements are welcome news, as we can now focus on the great events to come. All over the world, ever since the remains were found, Ricardians have been waiting for this. Next spring, Leicester will be the place to be. Members everywhere will want to say afterwards, "I was there." Today, I take this opportunity to thank members of the Richard III Society for their support and their generosity, the University for its scientific expertise, the City Council for letting us dig up its car park, and the Cathedral for giving Richard a place of honour within its hallowed walls. Next March, when the remains are reinterred, we will be burying an anointed king. Therefore, I ask, please let us do it with dignity, solemnity, and above all, honour. The time has come to give Richard III what he was denied in 1485. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. And certainly, as the Dean of Leicester, I'm very pleased to be able to say that Phil's words will indeed be very much in my mind as we make all our preparations. An extraordinary set of services which will be moving, be marked by dignity and solemnity, and ensuring to convey the dignity which is afforded not only to an anointed King of England, but to every child held precious by God. And I hope that becomes very, very clear indeed as we move forward. And I think it's with the same sort of care that we're glad to welcome Matt here. And so would you say a few words this morning, please?
Thank you, David. As you can see, we have started in earnest only just this week. We're delighted to be here in this wonderful setting. It's very poignant for us. A lot of the work we do on historic buildings, we embrace the past. We enjoy thoroughly what we do, and so do the team. They take a real active interest and a passion. And we've got an excellent team on this project, including the project and design team. And we're all chivying each other along to make sure we complete on time. And it is a real honour to be here. Its uniqueness isn't just the fact that it's wonderful work. We're part of the past, but we also feel very much part of the future in what's happening with King Richard. So it really is something important for us, and we very much look forward to carrying on and embarking on this very interesting project.
Good. Thank you very much indeed for being here. It does, day after day, feel an extraordinary privilege to be part of this story, and it's very humbling for us to be able to do this work with others on behalf of our nation. And some days I have to pinch myself to think this is really all happening the way it is. But we do it with a great sense of care, duty, and to ensure that this is done really well and with huge dignity and with huge honour. Thank you for being here.